Hello, today we will talk about homelessness and what you can do to help and try to fix this huge issue. A lot of Americans may think that homelessness is more of a third world issue, but this is simply not the case. Over 600,000 Americans are living in the street today without a safe place to sleep. Ever since 2000, the numbers of Americans living in poverty and homeless has increased. In fact, children have experienced the highest poverty rating out of any age group. Families became at a huge risk of homelessness as wages decreased and drastic changes were made in welfare.
As many families usually have 3 or more people to take care of, this puts a heavy burden on the mother and/or father. As the margin between the income of the parents and mortgage of the house draw near, the families begin to lose money. In an attempt to pay off their mortgage, many families will try to sell their items, but they will still end up on the streets. This leaves them without any possessions. Many kids are not able to get jobs, so if their parents cannot pay the bills, they will also end up on the streets, homeless, helpless, and vulnerable, without any source of income.
That is the story of many homeless Americans, including John, right here. Say hi, John.
Hello.
John's mother was laid off of work, and his father took a drastic pay cut. He soon found himself living in the streets, just like many Americans. Today, with John's help, we will try to educate you on homelessness and how we can help prevent it and stop this epidemic.
Homelessness in the United States is a major problem. In 2014, there are over 600,000 people homeless on any given night. Using that same ratio to the United States population, that's about 24 people just in Wakanda. We need to act now. More and more people become homeless every day. 1/4 of homeless people are people under the age of 18. Children are a growing population of homeless people. In 2014, 45,205 children were unaccompanied or alone, and 59.3% of those were unsheltered. Imagine being all alone and having to sleep outside at night and having no way to provide for yourself. You'd be completely helpless. There are many things these people turn to try to provide for themselves. Unfortunately, the most prevalent method of obtaining money is drug dealing. This leads to more and more crime and addiction. Imagine all the possibilities of these children. They could become athletes, lawyers, doctors, or successful business people. All these dreams crushed before they are adults. Take famous basketball player Caron Butler, for example. As a child, he began dealing drugs by the age of 11 and was arrested 15 times before he was 15. If it wasn't for a police officer who was convinced he would change, he would probably still be in prison. He would have never gotten the chance to play in the NBA. He would have never been a role model to struggling children everywhere. Many children never get this chance. We're the ones who can give it to them. We need to help.
The most effective way to end this problem is by supporting housing projects, which have provided homes for thousands of people throughout the country. Although some people may choose to give their money to homeless beggars on the street, this will often not help the problem. This is because the money is used on non-essentials. But if you donate or help with housing projects, you give people a stable home that they can rely on for years to come. It will provide them with the essentials to live a normal, everyday life, such as food, water, and shelter.
And the great thing about these housing projects is they can take place in any neighborhood or any house, such as this one. Now, a lot of people may think these houses are only meant for single families, but that is not the case. There are many housing projects throughout the country in houses such as this that take care of up to 5 kids. They all have a caregiver who watches them over at all times, and they're provided with bedrooms, a living quarter, and food and water, along with an education.
Now these housing projects, which are a result of public housing, are thriving in New York City, where over 400,000 tenants are living in buildings such as these.
Many families can find a place to live in a large complex like this, or a single house in a neighborhood.
Nicholas Dajan Bloom, a chair of interdisciplinary studies at the New York Institute of Technology, states that if we follow the good examples set by the committees in New York City, we can not only make public housing projects manageable, but successful as well. Public housing allows kids like John here to have a safe place to live. Why, hello, John.
Hello.
Goodbye.
Nice to see you.
You too.
There are about 1.5 million tenants living in public housing. In the state of Illinois itself, there are about 30 forms of public housing. 58% of homeless people live in shelters. So public housing benefits me because I have a place to stay year-round and a place to shower and bathe. It also helps me stay in school full-time and make new friends because I'm not moving around. Finally, it helps parents get a job because it's hard to get a job if you do not have a home, and this gives us a home. So by building more forms of public housing, this epidemic could be solved. If this plan is not fulfilled, more homeless people will die out on the streets. The amount of deaths per year in the US is about 700 for the homeless, which averages out to around 2 per day. This statistic will keep growing as homeless rates climb. So by building a place for them to live, this epidemic could stop.
So, you're probably wondering what you can do to impact these lives today. Well, you can start by contributing to the various charities that support these unfortunate people. One such charity is Habitat for Humanity of Lake County, Illinois. Habitat for Humanity of Lake County is a non-profit charity with a high rating of 91.25 on charitynavigator.org. The organization has built and repaired thousands of homes in the United States and worldwide, and it will become even more successful with your help. So how can you help? Well, you can make a monetary donation or volunteer your time to help build the houses themselves. To visit their website, search Habitat for Humanity of Lake County. Click on the first link that comes up. And on the sidebar at the left, click on Donate. And here you can see all the different ways you can donate, including checks, donating goods to build the houses, and an online payment system via PayPal. And if you go back to the home page and click volunteer, you can see all the different volunteering opportunities that are available, including building the homes themselves, keeping waste out of the landfills, or serving behind the scenes doing office work. There are also other organizations combating homelessness that you can contribute to as well, including the National Alliance to End Homelessness and PADS.